Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Live with Grace podcast. Today, I'm interviewing one of my close friends from home, Angel Roman, who is a two-sport collegiate athlete. And today, we're going to be learning a little bit more about Angel and her athletic experiences, as well as her personal experiences. And we're also going to be learning more about the power of creativity, how you can harness that in your life, and the role that creative outlets play in our lives. So to start, Angel, where do you play sports and what sports do you play?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Of course.
I play at Kansas Wesleyan University, and I play basketball and flag football.
Yeah, Angel is actually the only current two-sport athlete that I know, and I think it's so impressive, especially with you playing flag football. I don't know any other girls that play football in college, so that's just really cool. How has your experience been playing sports in college so far?
Well, obviously you have highs and lows. Mm-hmm. You have wins and losses, and you just gotta learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, also, since I do live in Florida, going really far from home, it's about a 19-hour drive. It really made me experience the other side of America, because I've always been in the East Side. So experiencing the Midwest, just brings a different atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that where you come from and just the experiences, even with me, my college is only 2 hours away from home, but the experiences I've had have definitely, shaped my identity. But do you have anything else that you would want to talk about, that maybe shaped who you are as a person now, or something that you want people to know about you from your past that, kind of made you who you are today?
Well, first, I don't want anybody feeling bad for me, but so when I first, when I, sorry.
It's okay.
So when I was born, I was actually abandoned in China, and so being a abandoned child, makes me, appreciative of everything I have.
Mm.
So when I ended up getting adopted when I was 4 and coming into Florida, and, transitioning to, America, it allowed me to meet a lot of great people, and I was able to experience a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also still strongly, connected to my country.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like it's a big part of my identity.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. I obviously have I don't know, I can't imagine what it would be like to, be abandoned at a young age and, be faced with the certain things that you have since you've been young. But, sorry. But I definitely, like I said earlier, I think that where you come from shapes you as a person, no matter if you came from the U.S., no matter if you came from China, no matter where you came from. I think that is really an important part of your identity, no matter who you are. What would you say, we talked about where you went to college, what would you say would be some advice for, somebody that's coming to an unfamiliar place and who might feel a bit disconnected, whether it is going to a new country, going to, moving houses, or going to college far away, or just facing something unfamiliar in their lives? What would be your advice?
Honestly, just stay true to yourself. I've always been a person that never really fit into, the big groups of society.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just, be you, do what you want to do, and the friends will come. Just don't try to fit in.
Yeah, I think that's good advice for really anyone, just in general, to always stay true to yourself and always, be who you are. Don't try to fit in with other people just because, you want to make friends. The right people will always come to you eventually if you're being your true authentic self and you stay true to your past and who you are, where you come from. And kind of going along with that and your past and your background, are there any like challenges that you faced either athletically or just in your personal life that you'd like to touch on that maybe, you know, you had to grow through or you had to endure that taught you something or anything like that that you want to talk about?
So, when I was born, I had a cleft palate and cleft lip. So basically, you had like a hole in your palate and like a hole or like a separation on your lip.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to do surgery on that, which basically kind of made like it was hard for me to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
just because like it gave me insecurities, and also I had jaw surgery, so that was also hard. It hurt. And as far as sports, I was out for 12 weeks. So it was more of a mental thing, but I mean, some advice I would say is, do something that you love, because like once you, I don't know how to word it, like just, just,
Okay. It's okay. Like do something that you're interested in so that you can kind of overcome things that you've been through in the past and like kind of make positive things out of them. What would be something that you've gone through or that something that you found passionate and that has helped you in the past or in the present, you know, cope with, you know, insecurities, cope with challenges, etc. What's like something that you've been through? I mean, obviously sports provide a really healthy outlet for, you know, physical activity and expressing yourself that way, but is there anything else?
Yeah, definitely sports. I also started, at a young age, I also did crafts. But along with that, I started photography about a year and a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it really I was able to have so many opportunities with it. Like, I was able to go outside my comfort zone. And it really, helped my communication. Like, you gonna have to, speak with clients about, what they want. Like, is it, a wedding? Is it a basketball game? Is it dog pictures?
Yeah.
So,
And especially with like your surgeries being on your face and affecting like your ability to talk with others, I'm sure like that has really helped you not only just come out of your shell, but it's almost, I could imagine how it's like almost forced you to have that communication and like how that maybe has helped you in life in general, you know, being more comfortable in your own skin and, you know what I mean, being more comfortable with the things that you've been through. But kind of going along with photography, today the topic of the podcast, the main topic besides learning about Angel, is the power of creative outlets. So kind of how creative outlets have changed our lives, how they translate to sports, and how they, I guess, just help you in life overall. So for me, that's been art, like painting and drawing. It's been writing and journaling. It's been reading, and it's been listening to music or playing the drums or, you know, doing something else relating to music. But for you, like, when did you first start with photography and kind of like what inspired you to start?
So like I said, earlier, I was very creative when I was younger. I used to do crafts. You may know what it is, origami. It's like you make stuff with paper. I used to make duct tape, wallets.
Me too.
So that really kind of got me in my open mind stage, I guess. And so continuing with that, when I got older, it kind of translated to photography. And also sometimes I draw. It just gives you an open mind. Just do whatever you want. You know what I mean? And so the main reason why I actually started photography was so like always being around like women's sports and stuff. You don't really ever see like photographers at their games.
Right.
I mean, you may be able to see them at like WNBA or just like professional leagues, but like I could go to my local high school right now, and there won't be one photographer at a women's game, but there could be like 3 at a men's game. So just be able to, get a camera, go out there, explore, take pictures of these like hardworking women, and just expand. So
Yeah, I can definitely see that, and I agree that there's a big need for that in the industry, and I think it's also a really cool way to, tie together your passion for sports and basketball and football and, all the sports with your creativity. I think that that's really cool, and, how not only now you're just doing creative things to do them, which is perfectly fine, but now it's almost like this could be a career for you. Like this could be something, that carries you through your whole life. And I think that that's really powerful. It's something that, is related to something that you've loved for your whole life, which is sports, but it's just a slightly different avenue, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if this was a similar experience for you, but for me, I felt that as I've gotten older as an athlete, things have felt just so much more serious, and I felt the pressure just get higher and higher, and I've just felt, especially once I got to high school, that I had to be always focused on basketball, and I had to be always getting better at basketball, and if I was doing anything else, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, anything else, but like, if I was spending my free time doing other things, it was taking away from my basketball, and it was distracting me, right? And it shouldn't be that high of a priority to do other things because I was just so laser focused on this goal. Because you hear, like, if you really want to be great at something, you need to just go all for it, which is true, right? Like, you want to expand isn't the right word. You want to fully commit yourself to something if you have a dream. But I felt like I had to put art and I had to put writing and I had to put all these creative things on the back burner because I was so focused, right? But only in the last few years, I would say maybe starting toward the end of my junior year of high school, I started giving myself the space and the time to go back and say, okay, maybe I do want to just spend some time creating art just to create it. I took some art classes in high school, and I really had to spend a lot more time allowing myself to be in that space like I did when I was a kid. Like we talked about how you had crafts and stuff when you were a kid. I had drawing and art. Like coming back to that is something that I've done in the past few years. And the biggest revelation I've had is that it actually helped me as an athlete to do that.
Yeah.
And that was actually like something that just was really, not really, really surprising, but kind of, like, it's kind of something that you wouldn't expect. Like, how possibly could art help me be a better athlete? You know what I mean?
Right.
How possibly could photography help me? How could that translate to the court? I'm not getting more shots up. I'm not, trying to run faster. No, I'm just sitting here and expressing myself. Is that something that you went through also? I know that was kind of a lot, but, like, just feeling that pressure and feeling like it wasn't as much of a priority, and then maybe like once you came back to it, realizing how it's benefited you.
Yeah, for sure. So, photography, like I said, I just started, but it's really helped me grow my game. Like, even just taking a picture. Like sometimes I may be taking a picture, but I'm also, especially basketball, I'm also like watching them. Like I could learn off of them while taking pictures.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And just taking, like Grace said, just taking the time to not just focus on your sport, but also focus on what you like love doing, like hobbies and stuff, can really like help your mental health, and it just really helps.
And like, I would say for me, when I was younger, I was kind of like a bit not crazy, but my mindset was a bit skewed into this. I have to be perfect. I have to keep getting better. I have to do this and that. And I almost didn't believe in balance because I felt that I have to be laser focused. Like I have plan A and this is what I want to do and I want to spend all this time doing this, right? And I don't know. I feel like over the last few years, gaining that balance back has just helped me so much more. You know, like it's not like I'm spending equal time doing art as I am doing anything else, but just that little bit of time is so valuable. Like I feel like you probably spend more time on your photography than I do with art, but that time that you spend, I feel like is just so valuable. I don't know if you would agree with that, but
Yeah.
it's not even that I don't love basketball and that basketball isn't fun, but over time as I got older, just I felt like I got so much more frustrated. I felt the pressure. I felt like I had to be perfect. And this perfectionism made me play basketball like almost like a robot and like completely stripped me of my creativity as an athlete. And I think just allowing myself to tap into that in other aspects of my life has allowed me to, you know, once my creative, I don't even know how to describe it, creative juices are flowing, then it kind of translates to everything. Is that something you would agree with, or?
Yeah, like, just being a creative person overall, it just, you know, it flows with everything.
Right.
So, like, for example, when you said, like, it transitions to the court, or, like, for me, for the field, too.
Right.
It just helps, like, try it. Like, y'all should try it.
Yeah, try it. And yeah, you can get your money back if it doesn't work. No, but for real, actually, like, if you're thinking about, you know, pursuing something that's a hobby that might not be something that is always go, 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 go. You have to be under pressure. You have to, you know, perform. And you want to just give yourself the time and space to just be and just to realize, you know, grow into who you are and, you know, cultivate who you are as a creative and just as a person in general. It's going to help you. As an athlete, it's going to help you as a person. It's going to help your confidence. It's going to help your health. It's going to help so many aspects of your life. So that's really just been a huge revelation for me. And it sounds like for you as well.
Yeah.
As you've grown as a photographer.
And to add on to that, like, a lot of coaches say this, but, like, what if you have a career-ending injury? Like, what's your backup plan? Because, obviously, like, I hope this doesn't happen, but, like, what if I get a career-ending injury, what am I going to do? I have photography. Mm-hmm. So just having that second option just really helps, like, you and just what you're going to do after basketball or after sports.
Right. Would you say that photography is something that has allowed you to express yourself without the fear of failure, or do you think that you still kind of put a little bit of pressure on yourself with that avenue?
I think for sure I put some pressure. It's not as much as, like, performing at a basketball game, but when it comes to, like, the editing and giving it to the clients, I'm just like, what if they don't like it? With, like, just like how you were saying about, like, the perfectionism.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's gonna be perfect, and it takes practice. But yeah, I definitely have a little bit of pressure. What about you?
I would say that similarly, there's times when I'm doing art where I'm like, man, I need to fix this, right? But the thing that it has taught me, which it's so easy, it's such a simple concept, and it's something that you would see on a quote, on a cliche quote on Google, right? That if you mess up, like, there's no mistakes in art or whatever. But it's so true. Like, my art teacher used to say that when I was in, like, first grade. But if you mess up when you're painting or you're drawing, you can literally just paint over it. Or you can literally turn it into something else. Or you can just start fresh. And it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. And I would say that, like you, probably when I'm doing art more as a business type thing rather than just for my own enjoyment and my own, I don't know, in my own time, I would say I put a little bit more pressure on myself because I'm like, this is what the client is looking for and I need to make it good. But at the same time, like, it's just not as, like, no, there's no eyes watching over me and there's no scared to mess up because someone's watching. There's no, I need to be perfect and I need to run this play. And I have just free reign to kind of like shape, you know, same with you with like an angle of a camera or the lighting of a camera or the editing. You have free reign to make something look however you want it to look in your mind. And you can completely change directions halfway through the painting and it doesn't matter. And you can write, and if you're bringing it to something like writing, like you can just write and write and write and then erase it or scratch it, crumble the page up and write a new thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's kind of something that, you know, these creative outlets have helped me with in a way that you can only learn it if you're actually doing it. You know what I mean? If I tell you, like, if you make a mistake, you can paint over it, you're like, oh, well, duh.
Yeah.
But when you're actually doing it, I feel like it's translated to helping me let go of mistakes in basketball and let go of mistakes in my life and, you know, move on.
Yeah.
You can't get it back. You know what I mean? And that does not go to say that I don't ever do that, because I definitely still do that and it's definitely something I'm working on. But as I've gotten more into my creative outlets, I've realized that I've gotten better at letting go of mistakes in general.
Yeah. Like my coach always says, next play mentality. So like, I mean, obviously nobody's gonna be perfect, like I said. So if you turn over the ball or something, you just gotta push through and return like positive, like, I don't know, just a positive play. So maybe getting a steal on defense,
right.
Or I don't know, getting a charge.
Right.
So just being also like what you were saying about art. If you mess up, you could just paint over it, or you could just like change the whole perspective of the painting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of what makes you unique too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's your own art, so you create what you create.
Right.
Yeah.
And like the other thing about art and photography and anything creative is that you can literally turn anything into art. You can turn anything into a cool picture. You know, like one of my most meaningful paintings I had to do an exhibition in high school for my art class. Like I had to have a show. And one of my most meaningful paintings in that was actually a canvas. It was made out of a canvas that I actually punched through this is crazy, I know. When I heard that I tore my ACL for the second time, I saw a canvas in my room and I just punched it because I was just so full of emotion and I had nothing to take it out on, right? But I turned that painting into something that I painted so many things. Maybe I'll show it on here one day, but I painted so many things on that at the time that really were weighing heavy on my heart and meant a lot to me. And the meaning of the painting actually became the light that was coming through the rips of that painting. And that's just an example, like that's obviously off on a tangent, but just an example of anything can be art and you can find, you know, a way to express your emotions, whether they're positive or negative, through creative outlets. And you can learn that, you know, there almost isn't a perfect, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we're striving for perfection, but at the same time, it's like unattainable because they're really, like, you can't say, oh, that's a perfect painting. Even if it looks just like the person they painted, it might have a little tiny flaw. And what even defines perfect in general? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you could see an abstract painting and be like, oh, wow, that's perfect. And it's just a bunch of random scribbles. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would just say that for anyone that is hesitant about starting a new hobby, to any athletes pursuing something outside of sports, and to anyone that just has a little nick for something that maybe might be unconventional or maybe might not sound like it's going to help you in other areas of your life, or something that just brings you peace and something that just brings you happiness in your heart. It's never going to be a waste of time for you to do that. And I would say to give yourself the time and space to just be creative. I saw a quote the other day that was like, creative people just need time to do nothing. And I was like, that is so true, because my best ideas have come when I'm just like late at night, just in bed doing nothing, just trying to go to sleep. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I have like, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Like a spark of
yes, like that's when my creative sparks come, when I'm like not doing anything. So yeah, again, give yourself that space and give yourself that time to be creative, and don't make yourself feel guilty for that time. It's not wasted time. And if you do these things, it will help you in all areas of your life. It'll help you mentally, it'll help you spiritually, it'll help you physically, and it will help you as an athlete or in any career that you are pursuing. Even if you're not an athlete, if you're someone working in the business or really anything. And I would say that's my advice. Do you have any advice or closing words for someone that was looking, to go out of their comfort zone, go to a new place, or, trying to like maybe pursue a creative outlet like photography? What would you say?
So honestly, don't hesitate. Don't overthink anything. Just go for it. Trust your gut, and just don't overthink. Like,
yeah,
that's probably like your number one killer, because like for me, for instance, when I overthink a basketball, it just turns into bad things. So just play your game, play how you play, and don't let anybody change who you are.
Yeah. And like, without going on a tangent, I'm gonna go on like a tiny tangent, but one thing that like, honestly, the word overthinking is such a trigger word for me. I don't know if it is for you, but like all through high school, like my coaches, my AAU coaches, my high school coaches, like before games, they would be like, Grace, don't overthink. Grace, don't overthink. And it almost like put me in a space of like, how am I supposed to, like, Grace, stop thinking. I'm never gonna stop thinking. You know what I mean? And that's how I always felt. I was like, you can't just tell me to stop overthinking. It's not gonna work, right?
Yeah.
I think that it more like, everything you said is true. That when we're not overthinking, and when we're just trusting ourselves, that's when we're going to play the best. That's when we're going to show up in the world as our best self, right? But at the same time, in order to stop overthinking, you need to kind of, know who you are and develop a sort of trust for yourself, whether you do that through meditation, mindfulness, whether you do that through journaling, or whether you have a creative outlet that we've been talking about. And that's how you channel your emotion. That's how you channel your energy. And that's how you just learn to be present in the moment. And that's really how you cure overthinking. But without further ado, thank you so much for being on this podcast today.
Thank you.
This is my first podcast guest, and hopefully this will go down in history.
No, yeah, I really appreciate you having me on your podcast.
Okay, well, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode, and that you guys all find a creative outlet that can help you in life, can help you in sports, and can just help you live a happier life and be a happy person. So thanks again, and stay tuned for the next episode.